Give me my theme music!
What's up, Buff Nation, and welcome into Buffs News Weekly Live, your weekly live stream on Sundays where we cover and summarize the last week of Colorado football. I'm your host, Russ Dornish. Welcome in today to this wonderful Sunday after a massive Buffs win yesterday. Let's let you know what we're going to be chatting about today. We'll obviously be covering the Utah game yesterday and going through a breakdown of what we learned, what we saw, what we can expect. We're going to go through college football as a whole to talk about where the Big 12 stands going into next week, where Colorado stands. We'll also go through the different scenarios that Colorado has in order to make the Big 12 championship, but not only make the Big 12 championship, who they will be playing. But first, we are going to go through the story that we have been covering since January. I know some of you are tired of hearing about it, but the story is coming to a close, and that is Julian Lewis, who today officially decommitted from USC as USC has moved on to Husan Longstreet. Julian Lewis is currently not committed to a school, but there were some other developments when it came to that, so we're going to go over that here in just a moment. Let's say hello to the chat. How is it going, Turbo? Welcome in. Appreciate you dropping by. Shirley, as always, in the chat. Let's see what Benzo has to say. Coach Prime is trying to hire Tom Brady as an offensive analyst. I believe Juju see the bigger picture if he commits. I would love to see that. I have no idea where Tom Brady is going to find the time, considering he's a part owner with the Oakland Raiders. And I'm not sure that you can be a part owner of the Oakland Raiders and also do things in college. But who knows? Turbo, exactly. Talked about it yesterday on the post-game show with David Talks Buffs. We are 17 days away from early National Signing Day, okay? Guys, this is happening right around the corner. There is not much time left to wait, and I think the news and information that we got today just continues to push in the direction. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room when it comes to Julian Lewis, and that was his visit, not official, his visit to Georgia this weekend. I talked about it last week. I've mentioned it numerous times. I hope most of you understand what I'm saying when I say Georgia is not a threat for Julian Lewis. You talk to any Georgia fan, they all know exactly what that was. It was a hometown kid wanting to come out for the Georgia-Tennessee game, enjoy himself, be a part of the experience. The fact that it was unofficial, had it been an official visit, maybe it's a little bit different, but unofficial means the team is not paying for it. It's Julian Lewis just coming, getting a free ticket to see the game, being a part of that, and that's about it. So in all honesty, we know the truth. Georgia fans know the truth. And we know that really the only team left courting Julian Lewis is Colorado, which brings us to the next point, which is Julian Lewis has picked up three more crystal balls to Colorado. The first one up, of course, is national recruiting analyst Sam Spiegelman. The other ones, of course, were Adam Munster-Tiger from Colorado, but we also had Wilt Fong and our other On3 analyst. We also have Richard O'Leary, who's coming out of nowhere, Penn State analyst, saying that Julian Lewis will be going to Colorado. And then lastly, a Kansas State insider, Mason Voth, also throwing out the fact that Julian Lewis is coming to Colorado. So everybody is getting in on the act when it comes to Julian Lewis. And it's just obvious to see what's going on. One, they want to get their crystal ball prediction percentage up. because this is a lock. Everybody knows it's a lock. Everybody's seeing it on that national scale. Really, the first person to crystal ball him was Tom Loy of 24/7, I believe, not Rivals, but 24/7, who came in, said that it was going to happen. That happened last week. My guess is now everybody's just kind of latching on to the obvious prediction, because I do believe that Tom had the scoop first when it came to the solidification of this. And obviously today's announcement of Julian Lewis officially decommitting is just the first step towards what's about to happen. Okay, what's about to happen. How's it going, Eric? Hope your Sunday's doing well. Thank you for tuning in today. Guess the Juju doesn't want to the Big Ten Network. Indiana's moved on from Julian Lewis. That's the big thing, is Indiana didn't love the fact that Julian Lewis didn't come for those 2 visits for whatever reason. They've moved on, and Julian Lewis will not be going there. I've talked about this multiple times. Not sure, who you're a fan of, what's going on with that. Love talking with everybody in the chat. But I believe that the writing is on the wall for everybody out there. Colorado has an easy path to the college football playoff every single year from here on out. That is not to discredit the other Big 12 teams, but the fact of the matter is Coach Prime is heating up with recruiting, and I truly do believe that from here on out, we will have the best class in the Big 12 each and every year, because it's going to be extremely hard for any of the other Big 12 schools to match that. They don't have the notoriety when it comes to coaching, unfortunately, that Coach Prime brings. The closest would be Utah, and it sounds like their coach is very close to retirement and on his way out. The other coaches, while they're great, ASU's coach, really up and coming. Some of the other coaches, obviously, nothing matches what Coach Prime brings. On top of that, the school's NIL fund is massively expanding. And overall, the just regular endorsement NILs that are available at Colorado just continue to grow. And so really, when you look at that, Colorado is an easy path to not only dominate recruiting, but then eventually lead into dominating in the conference and being in that Big 12 conference championship game each and every year going forward. It's why I don't think Coach Prime is going to be leaving Colorado. It's why I do believe that a player like Julian Lewis sees the opportunity that he can have here, the national spotlight, the ability to win and win fast, the ability to start and be the main guy for 3 years, maybe 4, who knows what his decision will be. But that is what we're looking at right now. And so to me, it just makes sense. Okay, all of this has made sense from day one in January when we went after. First, it was Bryce Underwood. Then it was Julian Lewis when he reclassified, and it's been him ever since. The move just made sense to me, and hopefully it made sense to you guys as well. What about Georgia? I just talked about that, Dark Poet. You even talked to most Georgia fans. They believe that visit was just him wanting to come and see the thing and just hang out and have a good time. It wasn't so much that it was serious. It was an unofficial visit. If it had been an official visit, I don't know if he's already taken an official visit to Georgia. I can't remember him taking one last spring, but the fact is, I don't think that is the true play there. I think, in all honesty, the true play is Colorado. And like I said, he has now 7 crystal balls to Colorado. Okay. The analysts are not all doing that, especially that many. There's one thing if it's one-off crystal ball, like last year with Jordan Seaton, where one person did a one-off crystal ball to Maryland, and then he ended up in Colorado. It'd be a lot different if that wasn't happening. They hear a lot of stuff, and from all of my insiders, who aren't really insiders, just people that are randomly connected to CU, they have all said the same thing, that it's looking like Julian's a lock, and has been a lock, in all honesty, since the Cincinnati game. The rumor coming out of different people connected to the program on the donor booster NIL side is that pretty much Julian Lewis silently committed back at the Cincinnati game, which is why since that Cincinnati game, we've seen so many things start rolling, whether it was Indiana dropping out, whether it was USC going extremely hard after Husan Longstreet and turning that page. all of it has just been leading up to Julian Lewis coming to Colorado. And yes, the Georgia visit came out of nowhere, but I don't believe we have anything to really look at. And that is the bigger point. That's why most Georgia fans I've talked to online all say, like, they understood what he was doing. Okay. They weren't actually recruiting him to come because that quarterback room at Georgia is stacked. Okay. There is way too much talent in that room for Julian Lewis to just come in, take that starting job day one. That's just not going to happen. And so I think that's probably the biggest reason that it was never really a big deal when Julian Lewis announced that. ASU been sneaking up the Big 12, now face a beat-down BYU team with a chance to contend for the title, controlling their own destiny. Exactly, Benzo. We're going to get to that here in just a moment. Once we get into the conference kind of shakeup, we'll go through the calculator, let you guys know what the scenarios are. But ASU Colorado is right now looking like the main potential opportunity for who will be playing in the Big 12 based on the math that we got going on. Russ, if you had to take a guess, what exactly do you think will get the official Juju to the Buffs commit? With everything going down this weekend, with the decommitment just now happening, now it's official that everybody knows he's not going to USC. And with all of the crystal balls, if I am CU and Juju, okay, my guess is they're in communication. They're trying to figure out how best to do this. They need to pull the trigger if they want to capitalize on this, because it's going to get to the point where people have just moved on and assume he's with Colorado without getting that big explosive announcement that they can get. So my guess is that at some point this week, Julian Lewis will officially commit to the Buffs, and we will get to see the domino effect that comes from that, whether that includes the players from this past weekend, which we'll also talk about here in just a moment. Love those recruiting updates. But otherwise, Julian Lewis, I think, will be committing this week. If Arizona beats by BYU, by default, CU is the new number 1 team, correct? And ASU will be the number 2 team. Another crystal ball just came from a Georgia insider, and I assume that was to Colorado. Let me go check that out. I always have that kind of going quickly. Let me see. Yep, you are absolutely right. A Georgia insider has just crystal balled Julian Lewis to the Buffs. So to answer your question about what is going on, there you go. Julian Lewis, Benjamin Woke, Dogs 24/7 staff writer, has now put in a crystal ball for Colorado. That is the 8th crystal ball and literally happening. Breaking news as we are sitting here. So for those of you who are wondering and confused or thinking that, hey, Georgia is a big player, that just solidifies it. So Julian Lewis will be a Buff. We are finding that out live here right now. There's going to be some really interesting stuff coming, by the way. I have a little bit of content in regards to Julian Lewis that I've been cooking up the last couple weeks as it became more clear that he was going to be a Buff. So be on the lookout. The moment he commits, there will be a video dropping on my channel you will not want to miss. So if you are not already subscribed, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell notification so you know when that video goes live and you guys can check it out. I've had a couple people look at it and they said it's an awesome, entertaining, fun video to watch. So be on the lookout for that as we go forward. We've got so many people in the chat today. I appreciate every single one of you. I will try to get to as many comments as I can. Love talking with you guys. But make sure that if you really want your comment read, you can always super chat me for a cup of coffee, and I will make sure to get your comment discussed. Q Lee, that's another great thing. Cardi's definitely coming. That's not even a question. He will be committing to Colorado here very soon. Don't know the exact time frame. My guess is Julian's the first one, Cardi's the second one, and then we just see some commits maybe on a day-by-day basis. Colorado likes to spread them out so they each get their time in the national spotlight. So my guess is Julian will be the first domino in that. Yep, Cardi's been crystal balled. Cardi will be coming with Juju. They're a joint package, if we're being honest at this point. Yep, exactly. Turbo got it. Package deal. I'm going to drag the feet on the rollout since the media knows. Probably at least a little bit here just to let it cool down, but they keep doing this. They're going to lose the national spotlight, so I could see something happening this week when it comes to that. I'd rather hear about the caliber of O-line, D-line recruits. That cements CU's success. Hey, and we've got them. Okay, Panther, we've got them. They were in town this weekend. My my insider information, I think we're going to get at minimum a 50% success rate from this weekend. So I do believe that London Merritt is a true Colorado commit. And I also believe that McPherson is also a Colorado commit after this weekend. So that is 2 defensive linemen coming in. Plus, don't forget about Christian Hudson, Mantrez Walker. So that side's great. When it comes to the offensive line, we, of course, got Chauncey Gooden already in. Cardi Smith could be that other one. The question is, will Michael Carroll flip from Alabama? I don't think so, unfortunately. I think we came into that a little too late, but who knows? He did tweet out about Julian Lewis decommitting today, so who knows? My guess is that everybody who came on a visit this weekend already knew that Julian Lewis was committed to Colorado, and that was a part of their recruiting pitch this weekend. And if not, I guarantee that Michael Carroll has been on the phone with Julian Lewis trying to egg him, to encourage him, to get him to commit and flip to Colorado, because, you know, I just think that's what's happening right now when it comes to the team. Cardi's team lost, so he's out of the playoffs. So a commit could be coming. That's the other thing I just forgot. Julian Lewis is still playing for his state championship. His team absolutely dog walking this past weekend to the next round. My guess is now, actually thinking about it, maybe it won't be this week. We might wait until after his playoffs conclude before he makes that change and makes it official. That is what I think could be happening. We don't know what's going to happen with all the top IMG recruits who attended CU game and was invited to the all IMG dinner along with Seton Clash Cleveland. We don't know yet, but again, I've heard little things. Okay. I do talk to some boosters, some donors. They get inside information because their donations are going to help secure those commits. So the staff, different people like that, talk to the boosters and say, hey, it looks like we're getting Julian Lewis. I need a donation of this much. Are you interested? That's how that information can kind of get out. It's why some of the insiders on Twitter exist, different things like that. So all I'll say with that is don't worry about it. It's going to be a good weekend overall. I think we're going to come out on top, but I think Michael Carroll is probably not likely. And I think Owusu Boateng is a 50-50. Okay, he is a 50-50 on that flip. We keep getting him to be a part of the different things. I think he's starting to move the needle. Okay, last week I would have said he was a 25% before he randomly showed up in Boulder a second time. So something to think about, something to look at. For Cardi, that's probably Cardi is going to be the first one. Remember, Seton last minute, family will be slammed with inappropriate press news. Leave Ju alone. Let's go, Juju. Love and Liberty. We're going to love it. Invited, not invented. Yep, I got that. It's funny to see how butthurt the USC fans are. Now they're saying Juju's overhyped. We knew that was coming, okay? You can go back to my videos this summer when I covered Julian Lewis's official visit with Colorado. I said that's exactly what would happen. I said when the flip happens, USC fans are going to trash Julian Lewis. And now what's even better for them is they get to say they got the better recruit because On3 and a couple of the recruiting services have Longstreet ahead of Julian Lewis, when we know that that's not, the truth. Okay. There was no reason that Julian Lewis should have been knocked down the way he was recruiting wise. Nothing has been seen to show that he is a worse recruit than he was last January, last summer, when he was winning all of those events that he went to over the summer during that crazy summer. And now in his high school season, he's having his best season yet of college ball or high school ball in Georgia. And he is absolutely dominating that state. So please tell me why his rating is going down. You know why. It's because Colorado was the ones tied to him. Who knows if we will get a bat signal or not? I can't remember. Respris wasn't around when Seton committed, so that's probably why we didn't get that. Appreciate you coming in, Q Thou. Hopefully that was pronounced right. If CU wants to compete in the playoffs going forward, they need that. I agree. But here's the thing. When it comes to O-line, D-line, the number one place you should be getting them is high school, and you need to stack those classes because it takes a couple of years for those guys to develop. And right now, just so you know, Panther, the recruiting for O-line is going hot. Okay? If you guys follow Matt McChesney, the ex-Buff, who obviously runs a training facility for offensive and defensive linemen. He has said the Buffs have started to ramp up their recruitment of his boys and have started talking to more. That includes IMG 2026 Brett Koleje. That includes Deacon Schmidt from Colorado, who's also their high schooler for the future. They have ramped up their high school trench recruiting. Okay, no need to worry. We will get there. You got to ask yourself, no matter who beats who in the BYU ASU game, Colorado has got to figure that. Sometimes iron blunts iron, and would see you rather face a Chip A. Ruski. Dillingham or Sataki. Dillingham's a great coach. I do agree. Ran into Michael Carroll in the team store. He was loving Boulder. Love to hear that. The whole IMG 25 class in onboard. Could you imagine just bringing IMG on? Like, that's what I want to see. I'd say that it's all about how the committee views the game. An undefeated BYU would look great on CU's resume versus a 2-loss team in a conference that the committee don't respect. Agreed, but BYU just lost. So that is going to hurt us. I'll talk about that here in just a moment, how that game actually did hurt us. Cooley, don't be bummed, okay? Don't be bummed about Baldwin. He was coming into a position that is of a strength. We already have a number of recruits at the defensive back position. I'm not too worried about it. He was more of a luxury than a necessity. And when Indiana finally came back regarding losing him and up the bag a little bit, it's already been pretty much reported, he was gone going to Indiana. So it is what it is. Agreed, Robert. That's our QB1. Clickbait, sick of y'all, everybody trying to use the CU Buffs and the Sanders. Cooking with Faith. I don't know what you're talking about. A long-term Buff fan. The title is not a clickbait title at all. I don't even know what you're talking about. It would have been a clickbait title had I said he committed. But literally, I just said that the massive win for Colorado leads to an update from Julian Lewis. He decommitted today. That's absolute news. I am not one to put in the clickbait titles. Go check out some of the other videos from today who literally said that Julian Lewis is a Buff. That was not necessarily me. Okay. Not to mention, like I said, if you follow my channel enough, you'll know that I am a longtime Buff fan, been a fan since the 90s. And yeah, YouTube channel started later, but I finally had an audience to be able to actually talk with people about Colorado football. So hopefully that's okay with you. Sorry to, not be in a good spot with you that you think you're sick of me latching on to CU and Deion Sanders. That's not my intention at all. I'm just having a fun time talking Buffs with other fans. Fact, BYU loss. I would like to see ASU contend for the title versus CU, making CU the number 1 team in the Big 12. Now that sounds more appealing. Only Colorado can keep CU out of the championship game 100%. Allie, good question. Do I think Julian Lewis will start right away? I do. I do think he will be starting. Longstreet is injury prone. I had no idea about that. Interesting little tidbit. Any update on how the weekend went for the recruits? CB, if you didn't just hear it a little bit ago, I'm thinking we're at like a 50% success rate from what I'm hearing. I think that the main people we thought were going to be committed, McPherson and Merritt, I think those guys are definitely coming. Carroll, I think is probably, I would put it at like 10 to 15%. Boateng, I'd put at about a 50-50 shot. And like I said, the rest I think are locks. Was happy to see that Mantrez and Alex Graham were both at the game this weekend. That was really nice to see, and really excited to see that Colorado decided to put on an IMG dinner with Cash and Seton. So smart out of our recruiting staff. Big props to Corey Phillips and gang. They have just absolutely been killing it, guys. We have one of the best recruiting staffs in the nation. So big ups to them. Big ups to Alexis, the rest of the people on staff, Coach Rispris. They have all been wonderfully used people here in the athletic department. So happy that we have them. Yes, indeed. I don't think CU will shoot themselves in the foot. I believe they'll win out, but Kansas, not a team to give life to. That's 100%. Kansas is the hardest one. This is a good one, Turbo. Any updates on Rhett Armstrong? We need to improve our kicking game, and he's a Colorado kid. No way he should be going to Baylor over Boulder. I'm not so high right now that we're getting Rhett Armstrong. The fact that we brought in another kicker recruit this past weekend to visit tells me that maybe the staff are starting to pivot. Always pay attention to who they bring in, guys. Notice throughout this entire Julian Lewis saga, they did not bring in a single 2025 quarterback. Now, they did bring another quarterback in this weekend who's a 2026, but even that quarterback said online, on record, that if Julian Lewis were to commit, that does not stop him from wanting to come. He'd love to come and follow Julian Lewis, so not a problem. But I think that the Rhett Armstrong thing is starting to pivot based on the fact that we brought in another kicker this weekend. What's up, Northside? Welcome in. Appreciate you. The decommitment is huge. It is the first step. It's the domino. What up, Big Teasy? There's Big Teasy at. Welcome in. Yep, George Hageman. Coach Respris has a little bit of connection to IMG. So a lot of connection. That's why I love that we're opening up that pipeline. And I talked about it in my previous shows. If you're just joining, IMG is the perfect place for Coach Prime to recruit because those kids are the most college ready, guaranteed. Now, that doesn't mean kids from other schools won't be college ready, but they're already away from home. So the homesickness idea, the being far away from home, affecting them, you don't know how it'll affect them. That's not the case with an IMG kid. The other things with IMG is just the college atmosphere, how they do their classes, how they do their training, how they do their sports. The strength and conditioning program, that's a huge part of their normal everyday day. They have their schedule catered around that. So again, the IMG kids just are going to have a leg up. And honestly, it's why we're seeing the success from Cash Cleveland. Cash Cleveland is a hard-working, unbelievable kid that got overlooked coming out of high school. And I'm so happy that Seton pointed him out, brought him along. I'm so happy that Cash has come in and just put his head down and worked and been an awesome buff for Colorado. And to see him succeed is just an awesome thing right now. I hear you, bro. Like Prime said, the days of stacking these high school players 2 or 3 years without playing much, they will hit the portal. Stacking players is over. You have to play them 100%. Coach Prime was not lying last week. That's going to be the new norm. Watch more teams take that up, okay? Ask Georgia fans, Bama fans, what happens when they stack those classes, okay? Would you rather have 3 or 4 kids behind each position sitting for 2 to 3 years before they make a difference? Or do you bring in some impactful transfer players who can make an impact day one and make your team that much better that year? That's what's going to start to happen, and Coach Prime has already started. We are not going to see this massive class that's going to put us top 5, top 10. Go look at the top 5, top 10 recruiting classes. They are mainly based on how big the class is, okay? They're not mainly based on the quality over quantity. Coach Prime is going for that quality over quantity, and that's why you're probably going to see 15 to 18 recruits total in the 2025 class. Bet my words. Watch that happen. Yep, linebacker, quarterback, trenches are our concern, and that's what we're focusing on in recruitment. I think Juju's just pulling a Seton, but it's not as impactful because we've seen this story before. It's all for NIL viewership, marketing, things of that nature. And the key with that, Benzo, is it's not a bad thing. That is Coach Prime. He is a marketing genius and guru. It's why he's got walk-on players doing commercials. He knows what they are doing. Smack Entertainment are going to help develop and cater the story to get the most clicks and earning power and money. And it's just the smartest thing. It's a business. It's a business, guys. We know college football is now a business. Whether you like it or not, college football is a business, and that is a massive part about it. I originally wanted a K-State rematch, but they keep losing most likely. Yeah, that loss this weekend pretty much ended their hopes with how many teams have now moved themselves above them, but I'll show you that. There he is, Coach Barry coming in. Let's get our buffs gone, get Juju soon. I hope we get all them IMG gang as well, 100%. That is going to happen. Hey, and Big Teasy, forgot you. Well, thank you so much for the super chat, $2. Thanks for the stream and updates. Go Buffs. Appreciate you, Big Teasy. Thank you for coming in with that super chat. After Husan decommitted from Texas A&M, committed to USC. Then Juju decommitted from USC. That's right. That's where the domino kind of started. IMG pipeline's getting strong. Might as well call it training ground for Colorado. Might as well put somebody up in IMG. Like, seriously, put somebody from Colorado on staff down there or something. We might as well just make it a pipeline or an entry level into CU at this point. Love your collab with David. Thank you so much, Eric. I have so much fun with Dave. We have fun together. It's been awesome getting to connect with him and, become friends through this whole process of being content creators. So that's been awesome. Appreciate when you guys like that. I've got some cool collabs coming up, which you might have heard about yesterday. I'll talk about it at the end of the stream today. Heck yeah, I'd like that better as a playoff matchup or national championship. Would be huge to get both done. KS State in the Big 12 champ and then Oregon in the Natty. The revenge tour is what Turbo wants. Not just Seton, but his other fellow ex-teammate Cash Cleveland. Yep, they've all been El Boogie, trainer from IMG also. He's got deep ties with Colorado. Deep ties. Just check his social medias out. Which quarterback will hit the transfer portal at CU? My guess is Staub. If I'm being honest, and he deserves it in a good way. I'm not saying he needs to get out because he's bad. I think that he deserves to go someplace and play. Do I think it is at the Power 5 level at this point? Probably not. But again, I want to see the kid get a shot as a starter because I think he'd do a decent enough job and have some good success at different levels of football. And so I do hope that Staub finds a spot, but I don't think it's just going to be here at CU. They run the program at IMG like an NFL team. Yep, it is a cool campus, by the way. Guys, go look it up on YouTube. They have a few campus tours. It's quite interesting what they've got going on down there at USC. Huge move by Lincoln already flipping. Okay, so here's the thing, Brady. It looks like a huge move on paper, but this has been coming. He turned his attention to Husan Longstreet back in August. It started where he reached out. If I'm being honest with you guys, Husan should have been their target all along. When you've got a 5-star literally living down the street from your school, you better be going hard after them. And the fact that he went after Julian Lewis first, I think was more latching onto the fact that I think Julian Lewis is the better player and prospect. But you ask a USC fan that today, and that's not actually true because now Juju is trash. So I love how the goalposts move. I think they got a good player in Husan Longstreet. Overall, I think Julian Lewis is the better player out of them. I think he will have a better career. So portal and NIL, yep, it's changed the game. Is Ohio State about to lose? Yeah, they probably will. Players need to play. The time for staying put is over. Coach Prime knows something about perfect timing. I absolutely love it. Wondering if Cokes J5 and hoping I have a little bit of information. Shane Cokes and Jimmy will be back this weekend. You can put that in the books. J5 and Cokes will be back this weekend. Nothing on Hayes. No updates on Dayon on what's going on. This is appreciated, David. Okay, very, very appreciated. This is how USC fans should be reacting, okay? Wish Juju well. Think it is. It's a good fit with Coach Sanders. I think they're going to fit in well, okay? And then, yeah, love your guys getting the local guy. I think that was the right move. Keeping it local. That'll get, I think, more butts in the seats than a Julian Lewis would at USC. Just being a local prospect, a California kid coming in, being able to turn up at USC is a much better story. So I think everybody wins in the end, okay? The key is Coach Prime Season 3, the series going forward. Recruiting advantage, get you the inside of the program. And by the way, we got the announcement this weekend. Coach Prime Season 3 premieres January 7th. Not only that, guys, but we also have the Julian Lewis documentary that will be dropping at some point. Who knows when in the next year, but that's going to be awesome to see just where Julian Lewis came from, all of the different things he went through. And I'm betting that we're going to see the recruiting saga on camera to show what that was like, which will be an awesome thing to be able to see. And there he is, Coach Barry coming in with the $10 super chat. Appreciate you. Didn't realize it was on that, but yes, hit that like button. And yes, Cokes, Jimmy back. Welsh, I am not sure. Have not heard an update on Welsh. And then the tight end that went down, Sam Hart, no idea on him either. Have not heard, but I do know Cokes and Jimmy are back this weekend. They will be playing. Yep. This is what I said. I don't think Staub is a Power 5 quarterback, okay? I don't think so. Stars don't matter once you enter college. Either you got it or you don't. we've been burnt already on that. Okay, Coach Prime's not going to make that mistake again. Supplement using that, yep. And George Hageman, yeah, he is a huge connection to IMG. Let's see, what do you think? Lincoln doesn't recruit California. I know he has not. Maybe he will now. That's going to help them a lot. Hey, and this is a big ups as let's transition. Okay, so we got all the recruiting stuff out of the way. It's exciting. The future of Colorado is bright. Let's talk about this weekend and the belt that we just put on Utah. Thank you, football gods. Thank you, football gods. As a CU fan, just know that the number of times that Utah has put 60 points up on us in the last 10 years, it was nice getting to put a little bit of points up on them. I would have even, put more. But I did like that last touchdown that we got in because of it. Carter Stoutmeyer, unbelievable game. Big ups to Carter. He is the future of the backfield there. I'm happy that we have him. He's going to be a big part of this team going forward. And Colton Hood, two guys that will be on this team next year, are both being impactful players now. I can't wait to see what they do next year. We are not losing as much as we think. Okay, guys, if anything, and I've said this before, you guys can quote me on this, but I truly do believe that when it comes to our wide receiver room next year, again, taking Travis out of the equation, okay, because nothing can match Travis. So if you do that, I think the wide receiver room as a whole is going to be excellent next year. If not, maybe better. LeJohntay, unbelievable. Okay. Will Shepherd, up and down, has his moments, has unbelievable moments, also has bad moments. So that one, we can figure out. But we're going to get back Omarion. Draylon just had his breakout game yesterday. We're going to have him. Cam Michael will be coming back from his injury, ready to go with his speed. We've got Adrian Wilson and Quinnell Farrakhan Jr., okay? We've got a lot of wide receivers ready to go. We've got players ready to go and step in next year. I don't think we are going to make that big of a step backwards. If anything, we might make a step forward in some different positions. I'm excited to see what we do on the offensive line because we know that the offensive line has improved, but it still is not where it needs to be. Okay, Seaton has been the standout. The other guys have had shaky moments. Cash is now solidifying himself as the center. So we've got a lot of great things to look forward to. And that game against Utah was just absolutely unbelievable and fun. Loved seeing the guys put that up there. And now we're tied for first place in the Big 12, guys. I mean, what can be better? What can be better right now? Coaching now is just not coaching. It's marketing management. Who better than Prime? Big Teasy, I would say even a long time, like most of the time that we have seen college football, I've always considered the head coach kind of a figurehead of the program. Their job is to just kind of oversee everything happening, but let your assistant coaches do the X's and O's for the most part. Obviously, there are examples of coaches who are really good offensive minds or defensive minds, or whatever that is. But I really think a successful program is ran because the head coach is able to do the right things, make the right calls, be the last kind of decision maker. On top of that, when it comes to Coach Prime, he knows his stuff. He can give you the little bit of insight. He can say, hey, I really think we should do this. But let your coaches coach. That is what he's doing. And it's honestly why we have such a good coaching system right now. They're absolutely killing it right now. Northside coming in with the super chat. Appreciate you, Northside, for the cup of coffee, $5. I hope QB players put up a fight for the position, not allow Juju to take their spot. I think it's going to be similar to when Shador came in. Okay, remember Coach Prime said that's your quarterback. People threw a fit. They threw a little hissy fit saying, oh, how dare you name him the quarterback before he's even started. And here's the thing. Okay, Shador's the best quarterback. It's obvious. It's obvious with the competition that Shador was the best quarterback. My guess is when Julian Lewis comes in, he's going to work his butt off like he always has. He's going to come in prepared. He's going to know the playbook. And what's going to happen is he will win the competition out. But I agree. I would love to see some good competition. Thank you for the super chat as always. And here's Coach Barry. I agree. If Dominique Ponder stays, he will be the backup quarterback over Staub and Wade. I hope the Wade brothers don't transfer. I don't think they will, Coach Barry. I said this earlier. I think that Wade, as the quarterback, knows what his spot is. I think he's along for the ride, enjoying it. Maybe they even split up if he truly wants to play. But Keaton Wade is here to stay. He is going to be a big part of this defensive line next year. He's already shown those flashes. Trust me, they're going to keep him around. Either the quarterback leaves or he stays and just takes his position and just, enjoys the ride of being part of what's going on here at Colorado. So yeah, that's what I think is going to happen with that. Longstreet wanted USC more than USC wanted Longstreet. They've only pivoted because of Juju. I mean, they wanted Juju hard. They did. And that is why Husan Longstreet went over to Texas A&M. So, that's just where it's at. They've pivoted. They made the right call because, hey, if Lincoln Riley did not end up with a good quarterback this cycle, I think that would have been his job. I'm hearing Juju possibly revealing Georgia as his pick instead of Colorado, using Colorado just for hype. Tay, don't know if you missed this. Let me know if you did. But this is what just happened literally moments ago. Georgia staff writer has crystal ball Juju to Colorado. And this staff writer knows his stuff when it comes to Georgia football. My guess is he's already talked to the staff and they've said that it was just a visit of just, whatever. He was just there to enjoy the game. Okay. That would not be coming out if he was going to Georgia. Okay. That Georgia beat writer would be getting it from the Georgia fans if he was wrong on that. Okay. If he was going to Georgia, he would have crystal balled him to Georgia. Instead, the Georgia writer is crystal balling him to Colorado. That tells you everything you need to hear. Okay. So there's no hype. There's no nothing. Trust me. The team is just fine. Coach Prime is not panicking. They already know they have Juju. We will get a dog quarterback. We don't have to worry about that. We're getting Juju. Did you get a chance to discuss Coach Shermer's lack of creativity in the run schemes? Can see you go deep in the playoffs just running up the middle. Here's what I'm going to say about Coach Shermer. I don't want to put all the blame on Coach Shermer right now. Okay. I'm not going to be that person. Do I love some of the play calling that's going on right now? No. Do I think that is solely Pat Shermer's doing? No, I don't. And hear me out. When Staub has gone into the games, the play calling has drastically changed to quick, short routes that are easy to pick, easy to decipher, easy to get the yards that we needed. You look at the Utah game last year, I was just so surprised. Staub was getting the ball out quick. They were doing slants, in routes, comebacks, all of the quick routes that allowed that. I watched a breakdown today that ESPN did with Matt Sims talking about Shador, and the 4 plays he picked were all just like deep routes. And it was surprising to see because I think we know that. We know that that is Coach Shermer's game, or at least has been CU's game. Now, where I say that I don't think all the blame for the different play calls come from Shermer, I think a lot of that comes from a mix. I think Shermer has a say. I think Coach Prime has a say. And I do think that Shador has a say in the play calling as well as the audibles line of scrimmage, which he does heavily. So who knows? What I did like that I saw was the creativity that we got when it came to that Wildcat play with Harge coming out of the backfield and getting a ton of yards, if not for the little hold on the end. That tells me they still have some stuff in the playbook, guys. I think that as the season goes on, unless they truly need to bring out a big time play, they're going to still have some vanilla plays and save that for the playoffs. Okay. The playoffs are within reach. We need to have some things up our sleeve when that time comes, but I totally get what you're saying. I would appreciate some more outside runs, but hey, we had some successful runs on Saturday. The Georgia quarterback room is full. I don't think Beck stays, but I think the Georgia room is full. Yep. I love how Nick, you immediately jumped on that as well. It was an unofficial visit, not even official. Allie, we are everybody's Super Bowl. Like, that's the thing. We are everyone's Super Bowl. That is why the start of the game is always the way it is. The other team is so hyped to play us because they know the eyes on us. They want to silence everybody out there talking about Colorado. So when Colorado gets a team, they get the best of that team, especially at the start of the game. Yep, of course, USC fans are saying they got an upgrade. They have to. Here we go. Look at all the young buff players that are contributing. I love that picture of Seton Cash and Draylon. Like, they are loving it, guys. That right there should be shown to every recruit that is thinking about Colorado, because you're going to come here, you're going to play. I went back and I looked at some of the recruits that we went after, okay, last year that didn't end up at Colorado. The only one that is contributing right now and doing really well is Boo Carter, which I knew that was going to happen. Boo Carter is a baller. He is a dog. But you look at some of the other recruits that decided not to go with Colorado. The one that I looked at the most, by the way, guys, Jawan Johnson. You guys remember him? He was an early commit, 4-star, 5-star player. He played quarterback in Louisiana, supposedly was going to go to LSU, committed to Colorado, then decommitted and ended up at LSU. He has barely played this year. He has barely touched the field. Whether that's because of skill or whether that's because LSU is so stacked at different positions, even though they're not playing well, I don't know. But again, that is what you need to look at, okay? The players around the country that thought about coming to Colorado that are not playing, whereas Draylon, Cash, Seton, all a big part of this 8-2 record, and I love to see it. Love to see it. The $1 million question. They're going to have to get creative in the run game versus top tier. Yes, they are. I believe they can at least steal one as the 4th seed. We're going to talk about that here. This is a good segue because I need to talk to you guys about a couple things, because Saturday's loss for BYU is actually not a good thing for Colorado. Just an FYI for you guys that don't understand or realize this, okay? A couple things I need to show you. First off, let's go ahead and look at the playoff or the Big 12 picture. If you haven't been to this site, this is the site to go to. It has all of the different tiebreakers and things like that. So right now we are tied with BYU at first. BYU has first place because of their victory over K-State, okay? Because of their victory over K-State, that is a common opponent between Colorado. It's the next common opponent. Actually, Baylor is too. But I don't know if BYU hasn't played Baylor yet. So I think it is K-State still. And so because BYU beat K-State, they get the tiebreaker with us right now. Now, if we win out and Arizona State wins out, okay, Colorado, Arizona State, we are the number 1 seed and Arizona State will be the number 2 seed. Now, going back, if BYU beats Arizona State this weekend and we win out, that's going to mean BYU Colorado. The reason why I said that was not good, that loss, is because an undefeated BYU, if we played them in the Big 12 championship, would have more rankings. It would tie in more to Colorado in the rankings, because beating a really high-rated BYU versus beating an unranked or low-ranked ASU is not good, okay? It is not good, because I didn't realize this until I started looking at it more. The way the playoffs work, guys, the way the playoffs work is the top 5. So the top 4 Power 4 conferences get automatic bids, but that does not mean that you get an automatic bye. The 5th automatic school comes from a G5 conference champion, which right now everybody is forecasting Boise State. If Boise State wins out and they have a higher ranking than Colorado, then Boise State gets the bye, and Colorado could be ranked as low as the 12th seed in the playoffs. That's right. So the way that it works is you either get the 4 byes, or then they go based on rankings, with the last seed being at least guaranteed for the other Power 4 conference. So if Colorado was ranked 12th or below and they win the Big 12 conference, they are going to be the 12th seed in the playoffs. Okay? So it was not good that BYU lost. We want a powerful team to play, or we want them to get our ranking up. Because we need to be in that top 5. We need to be a top 5 rated team, or at least be ahead of whoever the G5 automatic bid is to get that bye. So very, very important. That's why I said $1 million question. To steal one at least as the 4th seed, we may not be the 4th seed. That's not guaranteed, guys. Let's see what else we guys got. You guys are coming no crazy. Okay. Yep, Juju will be all right. We played Delaware and Wyoming and Georgia Tech early. We've got a much better non-conference schedule next year, guys. A much better non-conference schedule than what we had this year. And we've got another super chat, straight to the point. Appreciate you so much. Buffs will be a good fit for Juju, but his recent visit to Georgia makes his commitment decision a toss-up. Just saying. Straight to the point. You keep missing what we've been talking about. The Georgia 24/7 analyst literally just in the last hour crystal balled Julian Lewis to Colorado. He would not do that unless he got some information on the visit. There is no reason for him to put in a crystal ball at all if Julian Lewis was potentially going to Georgia. The fact that he put in a crystal ball for Julian Lewis to come to Colorado and he is a Georgia analyst tells you that he is not going to Georgia. Okay? Relax, everybody. Yep, I doubt Keaton Wade leaves. He's having too much success and recognition. And I agree, Jay Bolds. Keaton Wade is the truth. He has absolutely shined after coming back from injury. Coach Prime always wanted experience in all positions. Juju won't start because Coach Prime is looking for someone who can start right away. That's why he's recruiting Julian Lewis. I think he believes that Julian can start right away. I think you meant to say that Julian could start because Coach Prime is always looking and we're only recruiting players that can start right away. Where's the Price is Right losers music? I'm assuming that's in regards to the Georgia comments, the basement. I assume, and I'm laughing because that would have been hilarious as I bring up that message for people saying he's going to Georgia. Good job of getting that information from the Georgia writer. Hey, I appreciate the chat. The chat was the one that got it when we first went live because I did not have it. It broke while we were streaming, and so the chat had it up first. Juju's not going to take 4 visits to CU just to take 2 visits to Georgia. Georgia have a quarterback starter there already. Juju would have to wait at least a year minimum. Could be more. Juju wants to play or have a chance to play. We don't have that confirmed, by the way, Keith. What I have heard from sources inside the team, it is not season ending, so I do not believe it's ACL. It is obviously knee injury. He was wearing the brace. That we can fully confirm, but I guarantee you he is not done for the season. I do not believe, I have not heard from people it was an ACL. I've heard from a couple people who talked to some boosters that said it was described as a knee injury, but not a season-ending one, and he would be back in a couple weeks' time, and that was last week. Just FYI, some more info that you guys are. Yeah, and Georgia, I believe, is bringing in 2 quarterbacks in this class not named Juju, so why would Juju go? That's why even Georgia fans were like, Juju's not coming. Okay? Hate to say it, but here we go, basement. Hate to say it, but Shermer always defers to Shador asking what he likes and what he is seeing. If Shador says X, Y, or what he likes, those are the plays Shermer goes with. Thank you. I feel like it's at least a 50-50 decision here. Okay, guys? I do. The hate for Pat Shermer and his play calling, I don't think is completely unwarranted or warranted. I think it's a lot more to do with his relationship with Shador and what Shador wants. Okay, guys, I truly, truly do. North side, I already see people comment ASU or BYU. If we want the best opponent, ASU. If we want the easiest opponent, BYU. No offense, but BYU has just not shown me anything this year. They were undefeated, but how many of those games were close? How close did they come to losing to teams they shouldn't have? And then even this past week. Let's see. It's the running backs, not Pat. Isaiah and Dallin tend to run into brick walls. Isaiah does a better job. At this point, Dallin is just, he cannot find his way out of a paper bag. I'm sorry. Like, he just cannot find holes. I know some of them are closing. I don't know if it's the decisiveness, if it's not knowing a cutback. I mean, look at what Isaiah is doing. Let's give Isaiah a lot of credit. He has looked good, and Welsh also looking good at being able to do that. Jay, we talked about it earlier. I think earliest this week, maybe after his playoffs are done. Yeah, here we go. See what I mean? As a USC fan, I would rather have Longstreet than Juju. 100%. That should be plastered somewhere in the facility. Should be plastered in the recruiting room. That's where it should go. Man, we're almost to 1,000 people watching. Oh my gosh, guys, thank you so much. If you guys are here, throw a like, please. Just really quick, 900 people. If we could get 500 likes, I've never done 500 likes ever. I've never even come close to 500 likes on a video before. I think you guys can do it right now. So go hit that right now. Go hit the like. Russ, do you like our chances against a Big Ten or SEC school? Having time to game plan a scheme can give Colorado a shot against anyone. I agree with you. We have a shot against anyone. It depends on who the team is, if I'm being honest. We match up really well against some teams. Some teams are going to be a harder matchup for us. A team that I would love to see us play, I would love to play Miami. That would feed families, I think. We would have quite the national following for that game. Can you imagine Sapp also getting to coach against Miami? That would be really cool. If we eventually saw Indiana, I think that would be really cool to get to see. So I'm excited. There's a lot of matchups that I would love to see in the college football playoff. Let's see what else we got here. Remember, guys, if you want me to read your comment, we just have so many people in here. Super chat me and I will highlight your comment. Dion's mom about to move to Boulder next year. Cam with the inside information. Coach, we always got to go with your comments. Our Buffs cannot have 3 turnovers against Kansas. That will give them too much momentum. I love their chances against BYU. ASU is going to beat BYU. And when we go 2-0, we will play ASU. Agreed. And I didn't like them either. I thought they were careless. Shador had his receiver open and decided to do a touch pass instead of a lob, which he would have got his receiver. The 2 fumbles, not good things. We need to lower those turnovers. Luckily, it didn't kill us at all because Utah did not have an offense, and our defense is really good. Let's be honest. I agree with the assessment about the BYU loss. You have to consider the draw power of CSU. That still is a factor. Big Teasy, I agree. I hope that the committee sees it, but I'm seeing right now, I even see committee members tweeting really dumb things about Colorado that does not make me happy that they have a vote, because it's obvious that they are not looking at the body of work, and instead they are looking at the biasness that they don't like CU. That's my only problem. Oh, yeah, there it is. There's my comment. My favorite person in the world, Dan Lanning, and his most punchable face in all of college football. I don't think we see Oregon until the national championship if we were to get that. That's not right. Yeah, when it comes to the rankings, we may not get a bye. We may not get a bye if the seeding is bad. Yep. See, I wanted an undefeated BYU to help CU to get to the 4th seed. That is what we should have all wanted. We should have just wanted a BYU win out and a Colorado win out leading to that matchup, because that would have helped the rankings a lot more than ASU or any other team like Iowa State all of a sudden jumping in the picture too. Oh, let's see what else we got. I can't believe this, guys. We almost got almost 800 people in the chat. Hit that like, support. Thank you so much, Turbo. See you shitty in bye weeks rather than not have a bye week. That could help too. Plus, guys, hey, if we don't have a bye week, we could potentially host a playoff game, because the first game is at the higher seeds location, whereas the bye week games, that second week, that is where they happen at the bowl games. So we may get a home game too. That could be another positive to it. We may need a review of how recruiting business works in the offseason based on questions. A lot of people don't understand how this goes and how to manage expectations. CB, that's why we have content creators. That's why we have recruiting analysts, okay? Because a lot of people don't want to pay attention until they really need to. And so that's why I think we get that issue to a point. Hope you're right. Since 24/7, CB has been wrong in the past. There's been 24/7 crystal balls. There has been on 3 crystal balls. There have been local analysts from Colorado on crystal balls. The Georgia and there's 8 crystal balls in total. 8 crystal balls to Colorado. Somebody would have chose not to insert a crystal ball if they had all were worried about it. They're jumping on this bandwagon because they want to increase their crystal ball percentage, and this is an obvious one that they are finding out on their end. Okay. ASU, just BYU to beat ASU, that Big 12 chip would probably be number 14 BYU versus 16 Colorado, and that would absolutely jump Boise without a doubt. We'll be higher than 16. Remember, we're 16 now. If we win out, I say we go up 2 rankings every week, as long as everything works out correctly. So Colorado ends up, I would say we'd be close to 12 by the time the playoffs. That's why I was worried about potentially being at that 12, but beating a high ranking BYU in the chip could maybe move us up into closer to the top 5 or be at least ahead of whoever the G5 conference champion is. Is Boise State getting too much credit for the close loss to Oregon? The rest of their schedule is a joke. The problem is the hate for Coach Prime, Love and Liberty. It's why we see people saying that Ashton Genty is still the Heisman winner when it's truly Travis Hunter's to lose. Because I'm sorry, they are a Mountain West school. It's just not the same. We beat CSU. CSU is the best team next to Boise State. So again, you have to look at that as well. Yep, Washington State lost to New Mexico. That doesn't help Boise. Yep, here, Turbo, I agree. I think that's what it is. I just seen him in an Uncle Neely video. He was walking normally, so at least if he's out of the knee brace, it's not an ACL. That loss really hurt BYU. The committee already viewed BYU as playing a weak schedule. As of yesterday, BYU lost to an unranked, non-bowl eligible team. Ain't Kansas better than the record? Yeah, they started late. They gelled late. Kansas is a product of, starting slow. They are now who we thought they were going to be. Okay. They are not what they were at the beginning of the season, if that makes sense. Okay, guys, let's see where we're at. Again, if you want me to read your comment, we just have too many. I can't get through every single one like I usually do. If CU win the Big 12, the committee has to give them that 4th seed. We'll see. We'll see. Right now, people just do not like Colorado. And we know that. We know that. Oh, man. I think Irvin would take Miami in that situation because I think he's still hardcore involved. But I totally get that. That'd be interesting to hear what he has to say. The first 4 seeds are the highest ranked conference champions. If not CU, then who? I'm talking about legitimate conference-worthy champions. Yeah, and Benzo, it's right now Boise State. They are ranked higher than us. So if they win the Mountain West, they would be the highest. They would be the 4th highest ranked conference champion ahead of Colorado. So Boise State is who we have to watch out for. Now, if Boise State loses some games, that helps us. You think Branch will transfer? I would love that. I mean, can you imagine him and Omarion? You know who should have transferred to us this past year? Dorian Singer, as he's being wasted at Utah. That's, that was a big mistake on his part when we were talking to him. Oh, let's see. On that interception, Shadur threw. He did not look off the linebacker to freeze him. He was staring down his receiver. He needs to stop telegraphing. Here's the thing, though, the basement. The receiver was open. And Sims, Matt Sims on ESPN broke down the interception. He said the same thing. Shadur threw the wrong type of pass. He threw a touch pass. He needed to throw a lob to get it over the linebacker because the receiver was open. You could have thrown him onto the ball rather than throwing it directly to him. He didn't see the linebacker in time, made the wrong type of throw, needs to go over. He would have had him. We really need Preston back in his absence, overworking Travis. I think that's going to happen from time to time with Travis. It's just happening. And McKinney getting posted up in the end zone. Nothing you could do. That tight end just boxed him out. That was a great play. Tip your cap, okay? Let's just hope we don't see Penn State in the playoffs because they've got a tight end who's even better on their roster. Oh, let's see what we're going on. Yeah, Tulane is another one to watch out for. 100%. They went out. They could be looking us down and potentially jumping us. All Access Media coming in. Benjamin Walk is a top dog insider for UGA, speaking from personal knowledge. So we're getting confirmation that he's not just some loser or random keyboard warrior saying that Julian Lewis is coming to Colorado. Guys, let's take it serious. Let's take it serious. There's no way Boise State steals that spot. Big 12 is a better conference. Like, that shouldn't be a date. It shouldn't, but it is right now for whatever reason. And again, I think it's the hate that comes to CU. Okay, we're at an hour. I want to give you guys a little tease. Okay, a little tease. I am in discussions right now for an interview with Philip Dukes the Scoop. Hopefully this week, scheduling allowing. So you guys should be seeing that coming up. Not sure yet if it's going to be a live interview. I'll let you know on the socials, or if it's going to be a pre-recorded interview. I'm going to talk to him and see what he wants to do. But again, guys, be on the lookout for that. On top of that, my video in regards to Julian Lewis that I'm teasing. Yes, it's a Julian Lewis video that I have coming, and it's a fun one. It's a good one. I really worked hard on it the last couple weeks, and I'm ready to drop it, but it will not drop unless Julian Lewis commits. So the moment he commits, you will need to be on the lookout for that video. So make sure you are subscribed and hit the bell. Otherwise, you will not be notified when that video goes live, and you may miss it. If you do not want to miss it, hit the bell. I appreciate you guys so much. Love all the love. Again, big ups to our 4 super chats. Straight to the point. I appreciate you coming in. I appreciate the information and the dialogue with regards to the Georgia stuff. Northside is always Coach Barry with the 10, and then Big Teasy coming in as well. I appreciate you guys so much. We are continuing to grow. I am loving this so much. I've got some cool things down the pipe in the next year as well that I'll be happy to share with you guys here in the upcoming months. But I really do appreciate everybody's support, whether it was, the family stuff that we had a couple weeks ago. That was wonderful to see the outpouring from everybody, or just the love that I get from you guys here in the chat, whether it's the super chats or, you guys just dropping by with comments in my videos. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, being a part of this journey with me. Hey, guys, this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. We've got so much more coming at you. And again, once the off season hits, we'll go back to my Saturday news videos, as well as one streaming video a week minimum. So keep tuned and locked in. Love and Liberty. I don't know how I just found your channel, but I love it. I appreciate you. I love when we find the new people. Only reason Julian Lewis is delaying it is because he's being scheduled to go on First Take the moment the announcement. We'll see if he does that again. But hey, it is what it is. Coming from an SC fan, hey, thanks, Cordero. I appreciate the SC fans who are not being, petty about this. I've seen some really bad tweets, but I know there are good USC fans out there. So I do appreciate this. And Big Teasy coming in with the $2. Here's the road to 100K. I would love to get to that. Hey, I would just love to get 10. Okay. 10 is my next big goal. Would love to see it at some point next year. We'll see when that happens, but appreciate you so much with the other $2. Good luck to Colorado. Hope BYU can make it to play you guys. I would too. I would love to see that matchup. I really, really would. So thank you so much. Thank you guys for tuning in today. We will catch you Wednesday night for sure on the Buff Blitz, 7 p.m. local with David Talks Buffs. We will preview the Kansas game, talk about what's going on this week in recruiting. So make sure you tune into that. And of course, if some breaking news happens, you can maybe expect to see me live. So keep tuned in to YouTube channel. And as always, to all of you out there, Sko Buffs.
Give me my theme music!